The day begins calmly, with dawn bringing a spectacle of colors along the deserted beach. The waves gently break on the sand, as if the sea had prepared itself for a moment of serenity. The horizon stretches out, infinite and promising, reflecting the first rays of sunlight that illuminate the landscape with a soft and welcoming light. The tranquility of the environment seems to fit perfectly with the sound of nature in the background. The rhythm of life on the beach seems immune to the chaos of the modern world, and that is exactly what Lina Belfiore is looking for. Lina appears in the scene with a unique lightness, walking slowly along the shore. Her swimsuit, simple and elegant, reflects her confidence and the sense of freedom she so seeks. The wind plays with her hair, and her serene smile reveals a woman at peace with the present moment. She walks with a silent purpose, but her distant gaze suggests that there is more on her mind than a simple escape to the sea. She, a successful woman far from the city lights, now finds herself on a forced pause, searching for answers to something that deeply bothers her. But what exactly is missing in her life? The camera focuses on subtle details that show that Lina is not just a woman in search of a break, but someone in constant reflection. The contrast between the tranquil beauty of the beach and the quick images of the city that have passed through her life, a life of constant pressures and professional success, begins to emerge. Lina, who could have it all, still feels that something is slipping through her fingers. The solitude of the beach, far from everything she knows, becomes a metaphor for the loneliness she experiences even when surrounded by people. It is not just a break, it is a search. The peace of the beach is the only place where she can finally look inside herself. But as the soft music plays over the scene and the waves crash onto the shore, there is a sense that this tranquility is about to be challenged. The anticipation grows. Why would Lina, with all her successful life, choose this isolation? What is going on in her mind as she slowly walks along the shore? There is an unresolved dilemma, a choice yet to be made, something that is being ignored and that, at some point, will need to be faced. The image of Lina, so serene and confident in her swimsuit, carries a much greater weight than the tranquility of the sea suggests. It is at this point that the narrative begins to take shape. The superficial tranquility hides something much deeper, something that Lina cannot yet fully understand. She's not there simply to enjoy the peace of the beach, but to confront a side of herself that has been kept hidden for years. The perfect setting of the beach, with its gentle waves and clear sky, becomes the stage for a silent transformation which the viewer can barely perceive, but feels in every breath Lina takes. What is really at stake here? Who is Lina Belfiore? Beyond the woman everyone knows? The seemingly simple day at the beach carries a growing tension, waiting to be revealed. And then, with the camera capturing their walk along the beach, the viewer is left with one question. What is Lina searching for, and why is this search more urgent than anyone could have imagined? The beach may be the setting for your transformation, but what comes next will challenge your own beliefs and expectations. One thing is for sure, a day at the beach with Lina Belfiore is about to turn into something far more impactful than anyone could have anticipated. As Lina walks along the beach, the calm and reflective atmosphere is interrupted by an unexpected encounter. A longtime friend, someone from her past but whom she hasn't seen in years, appears in the distance. They look at each other, a moment of silent recognition before approaching each other. The connection between them is instantaneous, as if no time had passed. Lina, always so used to being the strong and independent woman, now finds herself in front of someone who knows her weak points, her insecurities, and even the most unglamorous moments of her life. This friend is the reflection of a life that Lina left behind, a simpler life, without the pressures and expectations that her career imposed. The man, in contrast to Lina's calmness, brings with him a lighter, more uncomplicated energy, almost as if he lives completely outside the social expectations that the woman is constantly pressured to fulfill. He is an invitation to spontaneity, to the risk of being vulnerable and real. The exchange of glances between them says much more than words could express. It is at this moment that Lina begins to realize how far away from herself she is. During the conversation, the words come and go like the sound of the waves. But what really stands out is the feeling of discomfort that Lina feels. She begins to understand that the questions that come to her mind are not just about her career or her life choices. They're questions about who she has really become in the process of achieving everything she has done as the conversation unfolds. Lina finds herself sharing thoughts and feelings she would normally keep hidden. Her friend not only listens, but offers answers that make her question everything she has ever believed. He speaks about freedom in a way that Lina has never really considered. He challenges her to see the world not through the eyes of a successful woman, but through the eyes of someone who simply seeks to be happy, without the mask that society insists on wearing. The contrast between their two worlds is palpable. While Lina feels the pressure of a legacy that needs to be fulfilled, her friend seems at ease living in the moment, free from constraints. In an intimate revelation, Lina confesses that, despite having achieved what many would call success, she has never felt true freedom. The weight of expectations, the critical gaze of others, and perhaps most importantly, her own view of herself have trapped her in a version of herself that she never imagined to be hers. What began as a relaxed conversation about life begins to deepen, touching on personal issues that Lina had never allowed herself to explore before. She feels the need to be something she is not, and the truth is that she no longer knows who she is when she takes off the successful woman clothes and puts on something more authentic. The impact of this conversation is profound. Lina realizes that the idea that she needs to be a strong, perfect woman has kept her from living her true life. And most painfully, she begins to understand that perhaps the woman she truly wanted to be was never born. Her friend unknowingly made her see that the life she has led thus far was not a conscious choice, but a series of decisions based on external pressures. He makes her question whether she is living her own story or simply following a script that others have written for her, but deep down, Lina knows she can no longer live a lie. Meeting her friend becomes a turning point. The truths he has brought to light become a seed planted in her mind, and she knows she will have to face these questions if she truly wants to find the freedom she so desires. But how can she free herself from everything she has built without losing herself? Doubt sets in, and the tension between who she has always been and who she wants to be grows. What happened on that beach and that quiet conversation was more than just a meeting. It was the beginning of a journey that will lead Lina to a revelation that will change her life forever. The sun begins to hide behind dark clouds, as if nature itself is reacting to Lina's inner turmoil. The conversation with her friend, which seemed calm and profound, now begins to reverberate within her in an unexpected way. The peace she sought on the beach fades as restlessness takes over her mind. Lina feels as if she is on the verge of a big decision, something that is about to change everything in her life, but she does not know how to take the next step. The sea, once calm, begins to become more agitated. The waves grow and the wind seems to intensify. Everything around Lina seems to reflect the inner turmoil she now faces. She walks away from her friend, feeling a growing pressure on her shoulders, as if every word, every idea that was planted in that conversation is taking concrete form in her mind. Lina can no longer ignore what is at stake. She needs to make a decision. As she looks at the horizon, a sense of urgency invades her. She can no longer hide behind the safe and predictable choices she has made until now. Suddenly, the beach transforms from a place of peace into an emotional battlefield. Lina, next to the rough sea, finds herself cornered between her responsibilities and her deepest desires. Without thinking much, she decides to challenge herself in an unexpected way. The woman who has always controlled everything around her, now faced with the rough sea, allows herself to take a risk. She begins to walk towards the sea, her feet touching the icy water as the waves grow around her. The idea of getting lost, of abandoning everything that defines her, begins to become a form of liberation. With her heart racing, Lina makes the impulsive decision to throw herself into the turbulent waters without worrying about the consequences. She finds herself swimming against the waves, challenging her own fear of getting lost, of drowning, of surrendering to that which she has always feared. But the sea, which initially seemed threatening, becomes an ally. Every movement in the sea, every wave that breaks around her, the force of the water pushing her forward, represents a process of rebirth. Lina begins to understand that what keeps her imprisoned is not the world around her, but the fear she herself has created within herself. The sea, with its relentless force, becomes the mirror of her own internal struggle. She feels adrenaline rush through her veins, and for the first time in a long time, she allows herself to be vulnerable. She does not have to be the strong, unshakable woman all the time. True strength comes from allowing yourself to be fragile and accepting your own humanity. As she wades deeper, the sea finally seems to calm her. The waves, which were once threatening, now gently carry her as if the ocean itself is embracing her transformation. Lina realizes that by facing her fears, she is finally freeing herself. There is no longer any need to be the woman everyone expects her to be, nor the woman she created herself to protect herself from external expectations. The woman who emerges from the sea is not the same woman who entered. She is no longer a hostage to her own perfection or the weight of her successful life. She realizes that by letting the water wash over her soul, she has been reborn. She is free to be who she truly is, without constraints, without fear. But what happens next is the greatest challenge of all: accepting who she has become. Lina emerges from the sea, her feet touching the warm sand again. Her body is tired, but her mind is at peace. She looks to the horizon, and now the landscape that once seemed distant and unattainable now welcomes her. She feels a deep connection with the world around her, with the sea and with nature itself. Lina realizes that true liberation does not come from running away from her life, but from accepting who she truly is, without fear of failure or disappointing others. She finally understands that freedom is not in a physical place, but in a state of mind. Lina has freed herself, and her journey has only just begun. Taking a deep breath, she smiles at the horizon. Something has shifted within her, and she is now ready to face whatever comes her way. True freedom, she discovers, is not about controlling everything around you, but about allowing yourself to flow with life, surrendering to the moment, and above all, being true to yourself.